Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Although I've not taken this channel seriously, so I don't know if I'm to call it a channel. But quickly today, I would like to show us what has been happening in the crypto market, particularly Bitcoin, and then the entire market. That's the altcoin market. Okay, so I have this list on my TradingView app, crypto correlations, where I have the BTC USD ticker, and then the total, which is the entire crypto market cap. That's the Bitcoin and all the altcoins together, and then total two, which is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, and also total three, that's the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then total DeFi, and also Bitcoin dominance, although we might be looking at only Bitcoin USD and then probably total two, because those ones are more they are more descriptive of the information I'm looking for. I think they have all the info that I need to discuss about. Okay, so I'll be starting with Bitcoin USD. Okay, so I'm going to be starting from the weekly time frame. I'll make sure I don't have any levels drawn or any lines drawn, because I would like to start from, although I have some drawn here already, I would like to start from scratch. Okay, so I would need to delete all of these. So before I proceed, or before I continue, I'd like to put this out there that technical analysis is subjective. Okay, it's subjective in the sense that what I see when I look at the charts will always be different from what someone else sees when they look at the chart. Okay, and but I also believe that everything that happens in the market can be seen on the chart. Okay, everything that happens in the market can be seen on the chart, and I also understand that in while speculating, the charts can come in very handy. The charts can come in very handy when you about to make speculations in the market. But then I wouldn't how do I put this? Although there are some analysts out there that are quite good, and then combine all the fundamentals around, and also with the current market sentiment, and then also with technical analysis, and try to speculate or predict where the market is headed in the long term. But I when it comes to that, I think I can only speculate where we might be headed in the short term. Okay, and then just show some similarities. Okay, so my basic strategy, or my primary strategy in trading, is supply and demand. Okay, supply and demand, where the markets turn. Okay, so when we are seeing a correction, where does the market get to, and then we see reversal. Basically, that zone is a demand zone, and then when the markets are in a rally going up, and then it gets to some point, and then we see the market reversing, that's going down. Basically, that's a supply zone. Okay, selling volume or pressure coming at supplies, while buying volume or pressure coming in at demand zones. And quite similar to support and resistance, but they are not the same, because support and resistance is shallow compared to supply and demand. The strategy for support and resistance is quite shallow compared, because unlike supply and demand, the subjectivity in support and resistance is more. Okay, what I mean by more is, if we give a chart to, let's say, 100 persons and tell them to identify the supply and demand zones on that chart, you will find out that you will have more, do I call it precision or accuracy? Let me call it precision. You actually find out that you find more precision in the group that are asked that will be asked to identify the supply and demand zones than the group that was asked to identify support and resistance. Because, to be honest, anything you could draw, trend lines and horizontal lines, anything could be used to indicate support and resistance. So basically, in this video, I will be showing us what Bitcoin has done throughout the year 2021. Okay, throughout the year 2021. And to be honest, we can't really say for sure. No one has the crystal ball. Okay, we can't really say for sure where the market is headed, but we could, have some levels to look at that. Okay, maybe based on previous price action, when the market comes here, we could see a turn, or maybe it could break past that point and keep going and all of that. So, earlier this year in 2021, we saw that around here. I'm going to bring out a tool for that. That was at this point we saw Bitcoin break past 30K to go as high as that around, I think that was when we created the 40K all-time high. I think that was when we created the 40K all-time high price. Okay, so from the beginning of the year, we Bitcoin has performed quite well. All right, Bitcoin has performed quite well. So we saw the market, create a new all-time high, and then came back to where price opened for the year. That's around 30 k, and then before it proceeded with the rally, and then we had sort of this distribution up here, and then before we had this markdown. Okay, we had this distribution where money was just changing hands between this, do I call it a channel? Okay, so money was just changing hands until it broke below this point, and then we had this markdown before we went on to have this sort of accumulation here within this range. Market accumulated between, I think that was between the ending of May right into June and July, and then we finally broke out. We finally broke out in finally broke out. I think that was 21st of July. I don't forget that date. This particular day that engulfed the previous day. Let me make this larger so we see. So you see this bullish engulfing that happened here. Okay, where this bullish candle here engulfed this small bearish candle. That was the that was the buy, the ultimate buy signal in that particular accumulation. That was what told us that this particular accumulation that was happening here was over, and that a new rally was about to start. Okay, so I'll be showing us, aside the fact that the Bitcoin market was in a price discovery phase. By price discovery, I mean Bitcoin was trading in prices that we haven't seen before in history. Like we were creating new prices, so it was difficult to have um, price action history that we could look back to. It's one of the things that the traditional markets, by traditional markets, I mean, the forex market and the likes. It's one of the advantage such markets have over the crypto market. The crypto market is not so old. We are less than 2 decades old. Okay, I mean, Bitcoin started trading, when was it, in '09, and that's like that's it's up to 13 years, about roughly 12, 13 years. And then altcoins in general, I think altcoins started trading, was it in 2013 or 14? So when you check, generally the whole crypto market has not even existed for strong 15 years yet. Okay, so we don't have old prices to look back at and say, okay, the last time price was here, we had serious supply, sellers came in, or the last time price was here, buyers came in, and all of that. So I'm going to show us zones that the market respected. Okay, so I'll be starting with a demand zone that's that the market respected. First of all, basically, a demand zone is, how do I explain this? So let me make use of the brush tool again. So you have a demand zone when a high is created, and then a low is created, and then a higher high is created. Let me A higher high is created. Okay, so you have a high to a low to a higher high. So that low that is created is referred to as your demand zone. Okay, and the psychology behind this, or the logic behind this rather, is that price went from cheap to expensive. Price was expensive because we had lesser people buy and we had more people sell. Okay, so you can refer to this initial high as expensive, and then sellers came in, so we had more sellers than buyers, and then they pushed price down, and then it got to a point they couldn't the decrease in price couldn't continue, and then buyers came in again, and buyers did not just come in, buyers came in and took price higher than the previous high here, showing you that there was a bargain here, there was serious bargain here, showing you that the price here could be referred to as cheap. Okay, showing you that the price here could be referred to as cheap. So that is how you know that, okay, this is a demand zone. Okay, so I'm going to use the rectangle. Although we should also understand that these things are not foolproof. Technical analysis generally isn't foolproof. So how you draw your zones is from you draw it from the open to the low of the previous bearish candle before the rally that started. Okay, so let me show this to us quickly. Okay, so if you notice, let me add a little bit of gradient to this so that we can see it clearly. Okay, I think this is fine. So if you noticed, this demand zone that was created here, let me also lock this so that it doesn't move. So if you notice, this demand zone that was created here, okay, After price um moved all the way, did all of this, and came back, it's this accumulation happened above this demand zone. Okay. Although we had times where, if you look deeply or closely, we had times where, for instance, here we had times when price closed below those zones, closed below the zone rather. But if you look at it, if you look at the bigger picture, you find out that price all the price action that happened above here. All the accumulation that happened within this period happened above here. So basically, what this means. Okay, let me take this out quickly. What this meant was that after all the dancing that price danced by coming all the way down, when it got to this demand zone, demand came in again. So the psychology in the market was that, oh, the last time price came in here, there was demand. So after all the accumulation, which is a proper thing for that a market cycle does. So you have your mark up, you have your distribution, you have your markdown, and you have your accumulation before another markup. Price bounced off that demand zone here, and that was what we saw in late July, early August of this year. So we saw another rally again, another markup before this current markdown that we are seeing in the market. So this will bring us to what I would like to share today. So basically, that's what has happened in the market so far. I wouldn't. Let me also. I think there. I think there is. I should also share from the selling point of view. That's from the supply point of view. Okay. So notwithstanding the fact that while Bitcoin was trading here, this was more or less a price discovery phase, because Bitcoin had not traded in 50K before, neither had we traded in 60 something K. So all the prices that were formed here as of that time were new prices. Bitcoin was in the price discovery phase. So we couldn't really tell for sure where where the top was. Okay, where the top was, nobody really could tell where the top was. Although in retrospect, you would agree with me that let me show us something quickly. Let me show us something quickly. But it's one thing with all of this. While it's happening, you can't say, but after it has happened, when you look at the charts, you'll be able to understand that, oh, this was what really happened. So now, remember how I showed us how a demand zone is drawn? How, first of all, you need a high to be formed, and then a low, and then a higher high. It's similar for supply zones, but they are separate. Okay. So the thing with supply zones is that, unlike demand where you need a high to be formed and then a low and then a higher high, what you need is a high for supply, a low, and then a lower low. Okay, so let me show us. So here we had a high here, and then we had this low, and then to confirm, or let me do it the other way around. Okay, so first of all, you have this rally, base rally. Okay, showing you that this low here is your demand zone. Okay, but you find out that while price went down, price broke below this demand zone, showing you that this demand zone has been this demand zone had been invalidated, meaning it doesn't hold, meaning that price might be in the process of taking the other direction, okay, of taking the other direction. All right. So so immediately that happened, this bullish candle here became a supply zone. Immediately this previous demand zone here was taken out. This bullish candle here became the supply because it invalidated, it broke past this low in the market, and it also broke past this low with this move. It took out this low, it took out this low, showing you that this last bullish candle here was became a supply zone, and we saw how markets came and tried to test that area, and then the selling pressure continued before sending it all the way down. Okay, but like I said, these things are only seen clearly in retrospect. Okay, while they're happening, it takes a very trained eye to also, and also what is happening in the market currently to actually say, oh, are we in the distribution phase? How is the market about to is the market about to are we about to see like a correction and all of that? But let me draw this and take it into the price action that happened later in the year, okay? Because that was like the initial, the first supply zone, or the major first supply zone. I also recall that this analysis that we are looking at is happening on the daily charts, okay? It's happening on the daily chart. So you notice how this supply zone kind of held, okay? It kind of held here because you notice how this rally price came in here, and then we had some kind of spike above, that is here and also here. So would I say these were the things that fooled us that okay, we are going to invalidate this supply zone and create newer prices? But the actual truth is that same supply that came in here that sent in price down, and price tried going back up, and it sends price down again. That's the same mechanism that actually happened here. After this sort of price distribution that happened here, we saw a markdown coming again, and that markdown came in as a result of this supply zone that existed there already. Okay, so you actually find out that supply and demand is like the 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 general of, or when it comes to price movement, how price moves in the market. Okay, so you would agree with me that in the bigger picture, it's as though the market wants to the market it's like as though there is a bigger range in the market. It depends on how you choose to look at it. Remember, I said in the beginning that technical analysis is highly subjective. So what I'm seeing will be different from what someone else sees when they look at the market. And I can only say what has happened in the market, okay, and then maybe speculate what could happen in the short term. So this is the range now that I'm talking of, that I was referring to, okay. So we've had these let me make this tinier, okay. So from the beginning of, or let me say from the ending of last year, or even from the beginning of last year, from 2020, we've had price move this way, and then we had this serious rally, and then we had this drawdown, and then we had this move up again. But you notice that we didn't really or clearly take out we took out the previous high of about 64k. I think we got as high as 67k thereabouts. and then we hit the supply zone. And if you notice, this is how we've gone so far. Okay, so I'm also going to show us certain other zones depending where price could turn. But if you notice, it's as though we might be in for a range. Okay, and to be honest, whatsoever this range is going to produce is going to be really decisive and significant for the entire crypto market. Remember, Bitcoin is the leader in the market, and anywhere Bitcoin goes, the rest of the market follows. And it's going to be significant. It's going to be really significant in the sense that we could either break below this. We could either break below and go this way, and then we would say, oh, we're now in a bear market. Or we could do all of this ranging and break higher, and then the highly anticipated 100k mark for BTC will be reached. Okay, so depending. So now that I've shown us this, how it's as though we are in the larger picture, we are currently trading, Bitcoin is currently trading in a range. Let me show us another thing that could be in play here. Okay, if you notice, I've not really made reference to chart patterns and all of that. Okay, I have my own what do I call it now? I have my own personal perception when it comes to chart patterns. Chart patterns used to be like, it's like okay, let me call it a secondary tool I use. Okay, it's not the first thing I want to see. It's like maybe the second or third thing I want to see. But depending on how we choose to draw this, remember I said that technical analysis is highly subjective, so you might not see this, but let me see, how partial do I want to be with drawing this. Okay, remember, while drawing your trend lines, you're supposed to connect, make sure that the line has at least 3 touches. Okay, depending. So this one I just drew now roughly has that 3, and let me draw from here to this top. Okay, let me see. Okay, so if you're familiar with your chart pattern, you agree with me that this is what this chart pattern is referred to as a rising wedge. Okay, but the truth is, this is a bigger picture. Okay, like if you check, this rising wedge might not really, if it has tendency of playing out, and by tendency of playing out, what happens in real life, not just on the chart. You remember, the chart is basically history. Okay, you can't say, especially when you're referring to the bigger picture now, all right, not just smaller time frames like maybe 5 minutes or 1 hour, where the price movement there is basically is usually noise when you compare it to the larger time frames like daily and weekly and monthly. Okay, if you look at this, you find out that we might be forming a rising wedge, and with what is popular on the internet or in many places where you get trading information from, you are told that a rising wedge is a bearish chart pattern. Okay, it's a bearish chart pattern. Although when this breaks out, I don't know where in my own opinion, if it breaks below, it wouldn't be so bad for the market. Depending, let's say we come here and then go up, and then probably then drop back to this demand zone before the new 1.52 trillion, 3 trillion naira that is expected to, or speculated to, come to the market next year and the year after. And then before we continue with the rally and all of that, or we invalidate this zone here and then move further lower to go. I don't know where we are going to, I can't see. Okay, so I just needed to put that out there, that okay, that could be a play too in motion. But then again, TA is highly subjective. Okay, you could check your own chart and then not even see this. Okay, so closer to what we have, I want to show us zones. Okay, closer zones that we can pay attention to. Remember, there is this zone that I'm going to mark out here. Okay, I'm going to lock it quickly, and then there is also another one here. There is also another one here at this point. Okay, at the beginning of the video we had them there, but I just had to draw them out. Okay, why am I looking at demand zones? I'm looking at demand zones because the market is currently in correcting. Okay, it's currently correcting, and we are trying to find out where are we going to get to and see a U-turn in the market. And that is why, if you notice, throughout this video I've always been making reference to demand zones and not necessarily looking at supply and all of that. Okay, so if you notice, also this chart, the chart I'm using is actually Bitcoin index. That's the all-time chart. Okay, so there could be a little price difference between the price you are seeing here and maybe probably if you check Bitcoin USD Binance chart or Bitstamp or Coinbase, any of those other charts. Okay, but the difference is usually quite insignificant. Okay, because why I'm saying this is, if you check let's say Binance chart for instance, you find out that this week here you would where is that, so you discover that this week here actually got into this zone on Binance chart, but here we notice that we can see that it didn't happen here. It just got to this point and then the market went back up. Okay, so that's I had to put that out there. Okay, but probably if we go to a lower time frame, we'll actually discover that there is a demand zone in this point, that price came in and then buyers came back and pushed price higher. Okay, if we check the lower time frame, most likely H4, that's 4 hours. Okay, that's 4 hours. So I'm back to some specifics, or okay, places that price my we places price could get to, and then we see a U-turn. Okay, and we see a U-turn. Looking at this currently, there is a similarity that I want to show to us. Okay, if you notice, first of all, let me draw out this channel that, like I posted in my group. There is a channel that we've been I think since the 4th of May thereabouts. Let me just draw it out there. There's this channel that price has been dancing in, and I'll say it again, technical analysis is highly subjective. Okay, someone could look at this thing that I'm drawing now, and rather than draw a channel, they would see a wedge. Okay, they would see a wedge. If we go to, I think it's H4, the channel becomes more beautiful. Okay, so this is the channel that I was referring to, and this is 4 hours.
So you see, after that price drop, we went back and we've been ranging within this channel. Okay. And the thing with channels is what we're expecting is that price either breaks upward and leave that channel, or price breaks downward, and then maybe we see some further consolidation before maybe a further move down or a further move up, depending. Okay, depending on future, what the future holds. All right. Okay, so back to the daily time frame. Let me show us some things quickly there. So okay, let me show us the similarity. Although this doesn't mean anything. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. Just because of it's similar doesn't mean the same thing will happen. I want to show us a similar price action that happened after the last correction. Okay, after the last correction, we had that similar channel here. We had that similar channel here. Let me draw it this way. Okay, we had a similar channel here. If you go down to H4, you would see it clearly. So this is the current price action. Look at this. You have this image in your head right now, right? Okay, so let me show us let's go to the previous and see where the similar thing happened also. Okay, so like after the markdown, after this markdown, after dealing with the supply zone here, we came into this channel. But if you notice, there was a time we broke out here. Let me make this larger so that we see it more clearly. Okay, if you see, there was a time we broke out here, but then people were thinking, oh, all right, we've taken out some market structures, and I think the accumulation is over, only for price to fall in. And then still, even I think that was the time we now went below that demand zone that was created there, and then we still had some silly price movements. Okay, that's the thing with the market. Like, nobody has the market figured out, and trying to have the market figured out is to your own peril, if you ask me, because the stress that comes with it is, oh boy. But then this was where the actual thing happened here. So after that channel false breakout, as some people refer to it, and back into the channel, and then we had, you can't really say, this was more like a choppy market, non-directional. You can't really see it was ranging. It was just going haywire, and then before the bulls decide to come back in here and then take it into the rally proper. So what am I trying to say? What am I trying to show us? So I'm just putting it out there as an option that could happen. Okay, I'm putting it out there as an option that could happen. So we could have similar thing to happen in this current price action, where price has let me see. Oh, this video is getting quite long already. So we could have the similar thing to here, where price, supply zone, markdown, and then some form of consolidation or accumulation within a channel, and then you have price. You also have price, probably maybe a false breakout, and then some shabby movement. But then remember one thing: it respected this a zone, a demand zone below it before it went up. So that would now take me to those two demand zones that I've drawn below. Okay, so there are two zones here now. Okay, And depending on what price plans to do in the future, in my group initially, before this move that happened here, I sent a picture. I think that picture had um a zone here and then another one here. So I sent them while I think price was still around here then. So I told them two scenarios. Probably we come down here and then move up, or we come down here and then move up. But to the surprise of everybody, we actually break past those two zones and even went below the second one and came as low as here. Okay. So, but then I'm a crypto maximalist, and I'm always bullish. Okay, even if the market is correcting, I'm always bullish. Okay, I'm always bullish. I'm never, even in a bear market, I'm always bullish, because the truth is, um, blockchain, the technology, and then crypto, the invention, it's like so wonderful that the only way we can go is up. It's just like the internet in the late 90s rather. Okay, when it was invented, the people, even the inventors then, really couldn't say for sure the things that would be happening in the market 20 some 10, 20 years after the invention. And today we can see all the wonderful things that are happening on the internet. So the crypto market, or cryptocurrency in general, blockchain being Bitcoin being the first invention to utilize that technology to like its full extent, because the truth is you can basically use blockchain for almost lots of things, not just in creating cryptocurrencies and all. Blockchain can be used for a whole lot of things, a whole lot of them. Okay, so back to the chart. So depending, we could either come to this zone and bounce off from here, or come to this zone and bounce off. And if that doesn't happen, we also have, the ultimate zone. It's the ultimate zone because that was the last place, the last correction that happened. That was where we got that turning point. Or we could, come as low as deep as this and then continue with the rally. Okay, and then um if anything happens that that ultimate zone is invalidated, then probably by invalidation I mean like we have a proper close below the zone. Because remember that in a markdown or in a downtrend, there are always bear traps. Okay, fake outs for where the big guys try to manipulate the market or make you think, oh, we've lost this zone, we are going down and all of that, only for them to just stop loss funds, just close below and then close above immediately. Okay, so um depending on which of these zones, let me just see their prices. So we could either see a U-turn at between 40k and 42k, or between 37k and 39k, or the ultimate zone, that is between 29k and 32k. Okay, so that is for Bitcoin. That's what has been happening so far, and that is what in the short term where I think what I think could happen. Okay, so this is not the time you would want to be too, except you are a scalper, a day trader. You don't want to be too active in the market now, because anything you buy could go for vanishing. Okay, because the market could make one move, Bitcoin could just do like a 5% drop, and then you see the whole odds crying and all of that. Okay, it's also important to note. I think I should show us total also. Okay, total, that's all the money in the crypto market. It's important to note that we've been able to record a high of 3.0009 trillion, and I mean, for a market that started as low as 800 billion in the beginning of the year. Okay, so just in 2021 alone, over 2.2, right, over 2.2 trillion dollars was injected into the crypto market. That's like in so in less than a year we did almost it was that 2x, roughly 2x thereabout. The market did roughly 2 point something x, both 2x, I think. Okay, both 2x. Okay, so there is really nothing much to show. This chart is the crypto total market cap. Okay, and because of Bitcoin has a huge market dominance. Basically, this chart is highly influenced by Bitcoin's chart also. So, if we want to look at how odds are performing, we wouldn't really want to focus here. So we'll look at the total too, which is crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. And then there are different um classes. Okay, so this is more or less a general way or a blind way to look at altcoin performance, because the truth is, although the altcoin market has been retracing for some time, there are certain altcoins too that has been performing well. Okay, there are certain altcoins that has been performing well. So basically, this is all the money that has moved into alts. Let's see how alts has performed too. So for a market that opened at around 300 and let's call it 390, right? For a market that not what am I okay. That's for a market that opened at around 220 billion and saw a high of 1.7 trillion. Like that's serious growth. That's serious growth. Let me check it quickly. Let me check it quickly. So we had this market go as high as that. That's about that's about 6x. The alt market roughly did 6x entirely. So times six of the money that was initially in the market came into the market after the new year, after 2021 just started, and that's like serious growth. So here in the alt market, I would have shown us some zones, but if you notice, it's quite similar to that of Bitcoin. Why? Because the market is currently there is something called correlations here, and the market is currently positively correlated to Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin sneezes, the alt market catches cold, if we're going to put it that way. So, but you agree with me that there is a zone to look out here. Also, this is the daily time frame too. There is a demand zone to keep an eye on here between 1.1 and 1 trillion. Okay, hopefully sellers you know do I use the word hopefully, probably sellers bring sell take out about roughly is that 200 billion out of the market for buyers to bring in above 200 billion and push price up and continue. Or that's one of the scenarios. Or there is another one here, which is quite which if it happens, Although it's kind of like a gift and a curse scenario. It's Let me start with the bad one first. It's a curse because by curse, like I mean CURSE, a curse in the sense that you can imagine people that bought some alts around here, they would be crying. People that bought some odds around here and having odds market move all the way down here before it goes back up. I know it's going to be really bloody. It's going to be really bloody. Okay. But then again, if this doesn't work out, we could have this scenario. And then it will be a gift for those people that have cash and actually understand how the market works for themselves to coming into the markets here and then join the rally early. Okay. So that will be all for today. I hope we've been able to learn a thing or two, okay, from all of these information that I've tried to share. Okay, so basically that is all I'll be sharing. I'm currently working on a year in review video. Okay, although gathering the resources hasn't been easy. Like I want to make a video where we would look at all the major events that happened in crypto in the year 2021. It's kind of like a documentary, and I think it's something that it's something that'll be helpful. I tried. I first of all I tried looking for it online, and then I found out that no there was no body that did it. And then I was like, okay, should I solve the problem? And trying to solve the problem, I hope I don't procrastinate. It's not been easy at all. So that will be all for now. I'll catch you guys later.